Hello students, in this video lecture we are going to discuss about sorting techniques. A few basic concepts of sorting. Sorting is classified into two categories. One is internal sort and external sort. The difference between internal and external sort is that if the sorting is carried out with the help of the main memory, then it's called as a internal sort, whereas if the sorting involves the usage of secondary memory along with the main memory or the primary memory, then it is called external sort. The idea is that there is always a limited amount of main memory available in any computer, and when as long as we want to sort a small list of numbers, it is enough. Whatever the available memory in the primary memory is sufficient to complete the sorting by holding all the numbers or all the values into that particular memory space, and we can finish the sorting. But if you want to do a sorting of large volume data, which means we have to sort some thousands of records, then we cannot do it with the help of the main memory alone, because it may not be sufficient. So we will be using some secondary memory. So we will be bringing some elements into the main memory, sort them, and then bring the remaining elements. So we can only complete the sorting in multiple phases using the primary memory along with the secondary memory. So those kind of sorting which require the usage of secondary memory are classified as external sorts. They have taken an example of a file sort of 2000 records. So in which case we assume that the array in the primary memory can only hold 1000 records. So what we can do, we have to sort each 1000 records by bringing them into the main memory from the secondary memory, and the remaining 19,000 records will be held in the secondary memory. This is for the first concept under sorting. And secondly, we have the internal sorting algorithms have been grouped into several classifications. These are some of the classifications. We have got the 5 classifications of the internal sort algorithm. So we are not going to discuss any external sort algorithm. We are only going to focus on internal sort algorithm. That means all these algorithms are simple algorithms which can sort helpful for sorting a small list of numbers, and it does not need any secondary memory to be used. So that is further, internal sorting is further classified into insertion sort, selection sort, exchanging based sort, merging, and distribution sorts. These are the various categories that I just mentioned. So we have insert sort and shell sort under the category of insert sort, selection and heap sort under selection sort, bubble and quick sort under exchange sorts. And there are external sorts which are just out of our discussion. So we have these examples also for them. Now coming to the sort order, it's natural that we can sort the values into either ascending or descending depending upon the requirement. So it's just a matter of changing the logic slightly so that the same algorithm can work for sorting the numbers into ascending order, and it can also work for sorting the numbers into descending order. The sort order identifies the sequence of the sorted list. And in cases where where there is no specific information given about the sorting order, it is generally assumed to be in ascending order. For example, whenever we want to sort the ranks of students, we generally go by ascending order, because the ranks are typically the lowest value is the best performance, and next lowest value second best, and so on. Whereas if you want to sort the marks of students, total marks of students, then we will go by the descending order. The maximum total is the highest, and then it goes on in this order. So which order we want to sort is determined by the application where we want to do the sorting. Another factor involved in sorting is sort stability. Sort stability affects the sorting, or is to be considered only in case where there are duplicate values. So when the same values are repeated, in which order they are going to be placed or they have to be placed has to be considered based on the stability. So according to this particular uh, discussion, the stability means that, let us take this particular the given example. Here what we can see is that the number 2 record 212 has been repeated thrice. So first it appears here, again it appears, and thirdly it also comes here. So when we do the sorting of this number, if you blindly do the sorting based on the numbers alone, there is no guarantee of which one will come first and which two are, I mean which one of the instance of 212 will come first and which one will come second and third. There is no assurance, or there is no particular order we can expect. So which that is a situation of unstable sort. In unstable sort, the values will be sorted simply based on the numbering order. It will not consider the related values along with the number being sorted. Whereas in a stable sort, you should whenever there are duplicates, you must retain the original order in the sorted list. For example, in the original order, green comes first, yellow comes second, and blue comes third. So if you want to implement the stable sorting, and if there are no specific instructions given about the secondary values, then you must go by the original order, retain the original order as it is done in the second case, and that has not been done properly in the third case. This is the idea of sort stability. The next factor is sort efficiency. This is the next important factor of the sorting techniques. So sorting techniques, though the results are same for all the sorting, whether it is selection sort or bubble sort or quick sort or merge sort or heap sort, whatever sort we apply, we are going to get the same result. All the numbers or all the values will be in sorted order. So there is no difference in the result to differentiate the algorithms. The difference in the algorithms comes in the performance of their in completing their objective. So performance of sorting algorithm is measured based on the number of comparisons they have to make and the number of moves they require. So that is the factor that determines which algorithm it's going to be more efficient and which algorithm is least efficient. The best possible sorting algorithms are expected to provide n log n results. That means the number of iterations needed to complete the sorting should be much less than the actual number of elements. It should not be a linear order. So that is the ideal sorting. And but today's technique that we are going to discuss, which is namely the selection sort and bubble sort, they both don't qualify for this category because their time efficiency is O of n squared. So they will be taking nearly the number of elements time to complete. The number of iterations needed will be n minus 1 in both of the algorithms. So their performance is relatively poor. But there is another algorithm called a quick sort, which is having the best performance of O of n log n, but that algorithm is not included in our discussion. So this particular discussion will only focus on two algorithms, selection sort and bubble sort, and there are many other algorithms available for sorting, but that is all will be covered in another course called design and analysis of algorithms. But right now our focus is on data structures, so we are not going to be spending a lot of time in analyzing the algorithms here. And the next factor is passes. So passes are nothing but a number of times traversal we have to make for a given algorithm into the list. So each traversal of the data is referred to as a sort pass, and we in simple terms we call it as iteration. So how many iterations it will take to complete the sorting, and precisely it's called as a sort pass. Depending on the algorithm, each during each sort pass or during each iteration, we may either have to traverse the entire list or to a selected small list of elements. Now we are going to discuss an algorithm called selection sort. So selection sort, as we had seen, it is a type of insert and sort, and it's going to have the relatively average performance. So we will see how it actually orders the elements in either ascending or descending order, and we will be discussing the ascending order way of sorting the elements. So selection sort is one of the intuitive of all sorts. It's very simple to implement and understand. Given a list of data, the idea of selection sort is select the smallest item and place it in the sorted list. So in each iteration or each sort pass, you pick the smallest list element anywhere in the list. You have to check the entire list and identify the smallest element in the list and bring it to the first position, so that at the end of the first iteration we would have sorted the first position properly. So the first smallest element would have reached the first space or first index at the end of the iteration 1. Similarly, if you proceed in this way, second iteration will bring the second smallest element to the second position, and so on. So the reason that this is called a selection sort is in each iteration we select the smallest element for that iteration and bring it to its appropriate position. There is one more type of selection sort called heap sort, which is not being discussed in our topic. We are going to discuss, we are only using the straight selection sort, which I just mentioned. The idea of the selection sort is just as I mentioned. So formally what is being said is that, so in a given a list of numbers, the selection sort algorithm will divide that list into two types or two categories: sorted list and unsorted list. Initially sorted list will be empty and unsorted list will be the entire list, and there will be an imaginary wall that will be maintained by the algorithm. So we select the smallest element and exchange it with the element at the beginning of the unsorted data, and when we do so, the imaginary wall moves one step towards the right. So this will grow, the imaginary wall will keep moving towards the right, and the list the sizes of the sorted and unsorted list will keep changing, and at the end of the sorting, there will the list of unsorted will be 0 and the list of sorted will become equal to the size of the list. That is the end of the selection sort algorithm, and it takes n-1 passes to completely rearrange the data. The number of iterations will be n-1. This is the depiction of the algorithm. Now we are going to take an example. See, observe the example carefully. What happens in the first initial list is that this is an unsorted list, and when you commence the first iteration, as per the principle of the selection sort, you find the smallest element in the list. In this case it is 8, and swap it or exchange it with the first position. So 23 is swapped with the 8, the list becomes like this. Next iteration you do the same, that is you select the next smallest element and swap it to the second position. So 23 gets swapped with the 78. Similarly, the third iteration, fourth iteration, fifth iteration also continues, and you can see that to sort a list of 6 elements, it takes 5 iterations, n-1 iterations have taken, and this is the way in which the selection sort achieves the sorting of numbers and ascending order. This is the algorithm given. The prerequisite for this algorithm is the list must contain at least one item. It should not be an empty list, and the list contains index to last element in the list. So we should know the index of the last element. okay, the last contains index to last element. So we will be using a variable called the last, which will point to the end of the or last element in the list. Now the logic is simply loop until last element is sorted. Set smallest to current. So we start with the first element of the list, and we assume that the first element is the smallest element at the beginning. Then we use the walker. Walker is a index variable which keeps incremented in each iteration. So we set the walker to current plus 1, which means it now points to the second element. Now there is a loop walker less than or equal to last. So till it reaches the last index, it will keep getting moving. If the walker key less than the smallest key, which means current is pointing to the or holding the, smallest is now holding the first value in the list. And when you compare it with the second value, that is walker is pointing to current plus 1 or the second element, we make a comparison between the first element and the second element, and whichever is smaller gets swapped. So if the second is smaller, it gets swapped with the first. No, it is not immediately swapped, but it is just being noted down in the smallest. So the smallest is updated with the value of the walker. So we don't do a swap immediately. That is the difference between bubble sort and this one. It only takes a note of the smallest value. So smallest now becomes the current smallest, and in this way it will keep updating. And when the walker reaches the last index, whatever the value that is held in the smallest variable must be the lowest value in the list. So it gets swapped with the first value. So exchange happens only after the loop. Okay, please take a note of this particular thing, that in selection sort the exchange only happens after we determine the position of the lowest value and its index, and then we do the swapping. That is why we are getting the result like this. In the first iteration, we swap 8 with the 23. So that is because after scanning the entire list, 8 is found to be the smallest value, and so it gets swapped with the first element. So that is the way the selection sort is implemented. Let me take one more example here. So here the list is given as 9463541. So how is it going to be sorted? You can try to do it in your mind while I am showing the result. So first what should happen? You have to find the smallest element in the entire list, which means 1 will be identified, and bring it to the first position. So a swap will happen between this position and this position. The result of the list is going to be like this. Next iteration, 3 gets swapped with 4, then 4 gets swapped with 6, then 4 gets swapped with 6, and then 5. And you can also note down that see, the list gets actually sorted well before n-1 iterations. That is 5 and 6, 5 is 5, 6, 9 are already in their correct positions at this iteration itself, but the algorithm will just continue for the n-1 number of iterations. So because selection sort does not recognize whether the list is already sorted or not, it will always tend to complete its entire iterations without actually making any change. It will go on to complete. So it will take n-1 iterations to sort this list. So if you are given a list of numbers and asked to apply selection sort, you must precisely follow this order. Only then it will be treated as correct, because getting the correct result is not the objective of this algorithm, because we can just in our mind we can do a sort and tell this is the correct order of the numbers. But what is important is how selection sort is doing the sorting by following the steps correctly. Now the next category of algorithms are which are called exchange sorts, under which we will just discuss one algorithm which is bubble sort. So bubble sort will also have similar principles, like the list is divided into sorted and unsorted. Initially unsorted is full and sorted is empty, and it will also maintain a imaginary wall. All that will be true. But where is the difference comes is that here the smallest here what happens with the bubble sort is that the elements are immediately swapped with each other, unlike the selection sort where it patiently waits for identifying the smallest element in the list and swapping it with the first element. Bubble sort will instantly swap the moment it finds the second number is smaller than the previous number. So for every number in the nth position, if n plus 1 position is having smaller value, then immediately they get swapped with each other. So that is going to be the characteristic of the bubble sort. I will show an example to make this clear, and also we will see the algorithm for that. And this algorithm is also going to take n minus 1 passes, and there is no efficiency difference in terms of bubble sort and between bubble sort and selection sort. They both have the same performance. Okay, now we are going to take the same example and see the difference here. So now what happens is 9463541 are given, but it's now bubble sort, not selection sort. If it is selection sort, we know what will happen. 1 will come here and 9 will go there, and no other change will happen in the list. But with the bubble sort, you will compare 9 with 4, and because 4 is smaller than 9, you will swap them immediately. So 4 will come here, 9 will be moved here. Now you will do the comparison between 9 and 6, and because 6 is smaller, it will come here and 9 will go here. Similarly 3 will come, 9 will come, and again 9 will be pushed to next position, and 5 will be moved here, and 4 will come. So eventually 9 will reach the last position, and we will have 4 here. So this is how bubble sort proceeds in the sorting. So we have got the list like this, and we have to repeat the process again and till the n minus 1 times. So 4 and 6 are compared, no change is required, but 6 and 3 are compared, a change is required. So 3 will come here, 6 will go there, 5 will come, 6 will move, again 4 will move, and 6 will eventually come to this position. So the list is modified like this, and then next iteration 3 comes to the first position, 4 is pushed to the next position, and 5 is pushed to the correct position for its value, and this continues, and exactly at n minus 1th iteration we get the list sorted in the same way. So the result of the bubble sort is same as selection sort, but you can clearly see the difference in which the way in which they are sorted. And when in an exam point of view, you must be able to reproduce the exact order followed for sorting the numbers under the selection sort and bubble sort. This is the algorithm. So the algorithm has got two loops. Loop current less than last, correct less than or equal to last, and sorted false. So as till you complete the sorting, until current is less than or equal to last, we have to repeat. So set walker to last. Walker is set to the last element, and set sorted to true. Loop walker greater than current. So we have to keep incrementing the walker until this condition is true. Walker data less than walker minus 1 data. So here what we do is that we compare the data pointed by the walker with the data. Actually this algorithm sort the numbers from the end of the list, not from the beginning. It is doing it in a reverse order, but demonstrated it in the starting from the first number. So you can understand the algorithm that it is doing it in a reverse order. So the Walker data is compared with the Walker -1 data. If they needs to be swapped, if the Walker data is smaller than the Walker -1, then it triggers a exchange immediately. So immediately the two values are swapped so that they are in proper order, and then decrement Walker. So the Walker gets decremented. If it is in the from the beginning, then it will be incremented, but now it is getting decremented. So then it will repeat the process. So in each iteration, it will keep swapping the numbers immediately if the smaller number is in Walker -1 position and larger number is in the Walker position. So it will do this will be carried out for one set of iterations, that is n-1 iterations, and after that there is the outer loop will once again make sure that this gets repeated again. So it will be repeated for n-1 times, and finally the list would have been sorted. And you are also allowed to rewrite this algorithm uh, for your convenience to the so that you can do it in the order in which I showed the example. So it is not mandatory that we should only follow this particular way of the algorithm. The idea is you must be able to reproduce an algorithm which does the bubble sort. That is all needed. And the bubble sort efficiency is given as O of n squared. So that is the end of the discussion on sorting. So we have just discussed two of the sorting algorithms. The other algorithms are not covered in our portion, but you are encouraged to have some self interest and learn some more algorithms other than these two algorithms. But from exam point of view, only these two algorithms will be involved in the exam questions. So do some practice and take. You should be prepared to sort a list of numbers given in into ascending or descending with the help of selection sort and bubble sort. Thank you.